Greetings, YouTube. When I reviewed my Morakniv Companion, and I've learned thanks to one of my commenters that is actually how you say the name of the company, Morakniv, I commented about the fact that the sheath has a hole in the back that is designed to clip something in and to hang it from a sheath, or to hang it from something, because you basically do this and it swings. And I was both wrong and right in my comment. I was right in the fact that Morakniv makes a sheath for another knife that has a big plastic button, and you slip the button here and you pull down on the button, and the button lets you hang this knife sheath off the other knife sheath. Because apparently in Sweden it is not uncommon for outdoorsmen to carry two fixed blade knives. I did not know. You learn something new every day. But that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do, seeing as that I had the shape of the sheath as this design, I wanted to be able to hang it off of my belt loop, because I discovered that when you used the very positive, quite efficient clip here directly on my belt, it was very rigid. But when you sat down, it was stiff, and it would hit things easily when you were trying to move around, and it was a little frustrating. So I decided, well, I don't want to do that. I've got a sheath modified already to be swung, so why don't I come up with a way to swing it? So, to further that end, I bought some of these. Now what this is right here, it's flush, domed on one end, smooth, and it's got a screw in the other. You take it and you unscrew it so that if you so choose, you have two pieces. This is known as a Chicago screw, which is something I just recently discovered, having seen one before, and I knew what they looked like in my head, but I had absolutely no idea what they were called. But I found a knife kit that was called knifekit.com, and they sold Chicago screws, and they also sold these, which is a generic belt clip, and I combined the two of these things so that you could take the sheath, you hang the sheath like that. The sheath would then swing when it was on your belt. And I wore this yesterday, to see how efficient it would be. This was the knife I carried for the day. I did not carry a pocket knife. And the sheath worked admirably in the regard that it did, in fact, swing. And when I sat, for the most part, there was no problems. Particularly if when I sat down, I kind of pushed the thing one way or the other, it would then swing and lie there in line with my leg quite comfortably. However, 3 times yesterday when sitting down, I sat down and I hit like this. Just happenstance. When I hit like this, pop, boom, and the knife fell off the modification. So it is not a perfect design. I could put some kind of, I have 2 slots here, so I could put something between them to hold the pin in place. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Carrying a fixed blade isn't necessarily something I want to do on a daily basis. Particularly, I don't want to carry it to work. I know, for example, when I walked into the post office yesterday, I took this off. I did not want to make federal employees nervous with the fact that they could then see a knife dangling off of my side, even though, since it isn't concealed in the state of New Hampshire, this is perfectly legal. I simply didn't want to make federal employees nervous when I normally have my pocket knife in my back pocket, my Kershaw Tremor at the moment. You can't tell it's there, so there's no concern of whether someone's going to be nervous or not. But this is a much larger object, and it was hanging below my jacket, so it was very obvious. So I'm pleased with the overall design that I came up with, but I still think it needs some work. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, so that's a mystery in the making. But I thought you might want to know an update about how I have tried to use the modifications that the sheath came with to hopefully make it a little more useful to me.